Alright, so cool. We are here doing a tier list today, and I'm gonna tell you before the tier list even starts, Super Vegeta has not made the top 10 cut. And obviously, with that being the case, it makes the video kind of pointless in a sense. Not really, but we wanted to see the new unit hit a top 10 standard, but if he's not there, we're just tier listing the old units. Maybe Android 16. But we'll talk about that later. So what we're going to be doing in this video, we're still going to make the tier list. However, we will be just discussing why he isn't top 10. Why everybody is clearing him one by one by one. Why is he not in that caliber of discussion? And I think that's going to be the bottom line of it. So let's get into this tier list. Before we get into the tier list, we gotta shout out the boy Dingy. If you want to make your own tier list, go follow him on Twitter, DNGEE_YT. You can see he got free followers. That's dope. But yeah, the link's here. If you want to make your own tier list, you can use the link right here and make your own, share it between your friends, make the list, and then write in the comment section what you think. But yeah, shout out the boy Dingy, because nobody would be able to do this without him. So yeah, right, so cool. Like I said before, LL Super Vegeta is not top 10 because he's top 1. He's actually just the best in the... Nah, I'm playing him. I just got him up here because he's just gonna be moving down all the way out of the list, basically, because I'm only doing a top 10. So cool, we got him here at number 1, but we're just gonna bring him down one by one. So I'm just gonna drag up the top 3 in the game. We got Super 17, of course. We got Bardock and Goku still cooking. Where's Beast son? Beast is right there. There he goes. So these 3 are still a very solid 3. So let's just move this guy down to 4th already. We've already made him down. I still think these 3 are a solid 3. But from my experience of playing PvP, right, Bardock and Goku, I'm still going to keep them at 3. I still think the competition is between these 2. Bardock and Goku are really good. Don't get twisted. 2 elements, cover no on explosive green, blast armor. They're super good with the indestructible that you have to break through. Cool, that's all of their plus points. But they don't carry a team. They're not the number 1 unit on any team. Unless, even if you're running UI is the real threat. Bardock and Goku are a very good second. They can even be first place if the first place isn't working very well, you know? So naturally, this unit is going to stay in the top 3. Their 2 elements keep them safe, and they counter a lot of the units in the game right now, especially the top 2 being these 2. But these 2 are just too super good. Now, between these 2, Super 17 is insane, and Beast Gohan is super insane. I feel like either or could be top 1, top 2, depending on what you feel like. But what I'm going to say is, if you're a Super 17 user, you know it's very easy to counter Beast Gohan, because all you need to do is tap attack him, then he can't use strikes and he can't use blues. That's all it is. You know, if you stop Beast from using strikes and blues, he's practically useless. I'm just being serious, and that's most units in the game nowadays that do crazy blast armor, blue cards, strike cards damage. But in the same way that you have Super 17 being able to do that, this is a melee orientated unit. So his green card becomes basically useless. You know, the odds of you landing a green card against Beast is low. Let's be real. So I have to say Beast can actually do a lot of damage in the same way Super 17 can, and Beast is off boost. Beast being off boost is a big factor. So maybe you might want to go Super 17 up. But really and truly, he feels the same. Beast's ability to solo teams is easier though. So for me, I'm going to put Beast at number 1. I feel like when Super 17 comes off boost, it's going to be even more apparent. But it's still apparent nonetheless, because Beast can just solo teams with ease. And I think the Vanish Recovery just puts him over 17 just by that bit. I personally also just prefer Blast Armor, and I think Strike runs the game. It always will, it always has in most cases. Blast can always be good, but Strike is always the deciding factor in most teams. Strike Arts having Blast Armor, even with the 170%, you know, that you can do with the anti-Blast Armor, the piercing, whatever it is, it won't necessarily kill him. So he's still going to get the parity and then end you, you know? In most cases, Beast is going to have the advantage. Super 17 can destroy him the same way Beast can destroy him. It goes both ways. But I think it's just way easier to use Beast, so I'm going to keep him above. So that's my top 3, right? Then we got to go down 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to keep moving Super Vegeta down. I'm sure all those reasons I've already listed are just way better than Super Vegeta already. So let's just keep going. Next contenders, we got G4, we got PyCon, we got Bomku, right? These 3, I think I had them up before as well. They're super good units. They're completely just dominating the game. So let's move this guy down 3 more. We have him at 7. This is fun. Cool. So out of these 3, I think PyCon's just the safest option, simply because of his revival layer. He's able to do pretty much a lot of damage the same way these 2 can. Cover No with Super Gogeta, Blast Armor with Super Gogeta, blue cards that can't be absorbed by Super 17. Cover No, healing factors, destroying cards is all good stuff with Pycon and Gogeta, and just to put the icing on the cake is a revival unit. So I think that's just better than anything G4 and Bomb Q can provide, especially because Bomb Q is blue. Now, really and truly, I prefer Bomb Q over G4. I think Bomb Q is too useful here. Too useful, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna talk about someone later that I haven't mentioned, but give me a second. I think Bomb Q is just too useful, man, when it comes to keeping GT alive. He's too much of a safe option to not have him on GT. And even if you wanted to use him on like Sun Family or Saiyans, he can make the cut. But GT is obviously his main team. And if we're really looking at it, the guys that use GT know that he's really the glue. He's really the MVP for GT. MVP 17 of GT. He's keeping the team alive. Not that 17 can't do it by himself, but you still need that layer of protection, and that's what Bomb Q provides for the team, on top of bringing the team's support and the buffs that he provides. He's also good on his own. When his gauge fills, if one person's dead, he locks you in. He can reduce gauge. He goes type neutral. He just provides some things that you really need. The only downside about him is that he can't nullify the buff effects when a blue card is done against him, so he can get nullified. His endurance can get nullified through blue cards and on the cover change, but that's every unit. So yeah, just to mention that. Now G4, he's a good attacking option, right? Very good offensive option. He gets 2 ultimate arts. He has a green card that can give him cover no. He destroys your cards. I think he gets draw speed off it as well. He has amazing tanking ability, global cover change besides from blues and greens. So overall, he's just super good, and he fits alongside the GT guys over here, 17 and Bomb Q. He's also green, so that just keeps him at a good spot because there's no real scary purple. So that's why I've got him there. Now, the next person, or the next 3 I'm going to bring up, is basically the whole Universe Rep team. So let's go 3 more down. We got UI, we got 17, and we got Evoken. And I just want to talk about these 3. I'm going to bring up UVB, but I'm just going to talk about him in a second. So we got these 3, right? We got UI, 17, and Evoken. Now, really and truly, if I had to pick an option, would I take UI over G4? All day. All day. UI, I would take him all day over G4. But there's a reason why I haven't got him above. Now, I don't think it's ridiculous to have him below. I think you should actually have him above. But really and truly, he is being used because of his dodge factor. And I think it's too much reliant on skill nowadays. With the top 2 being reds, he's at such a dangerous point where you just have to pray you're coming up against a team that's not using 17 or Beast. And let's look at the odds. What's the chances of that actually happening? It's pretty low. There's no purples to give him super value, so he's being used because he is UI. But he is a good unit nonetheless. So let's look at what he can actually do. I think the biggest thing that makes UI scary is the fact that he can dodge everything. He gets the draw on the time those taps, and on the cover change, if you try to cover change, he's going to keep you locked in, which can give you a free kill. I think those 3 things are his biggest factors to why people use him. It's almost a free kill if you like, let's say I'm using Bardock and Goku, right? I'm doing the combo, you're almost dead. But instead of killing you with this, and you know you're going to die, so you try to switch out, you're bringing UI to do 1 card, he's going to drag you back in, you're locked in, and you hear, oh, it's a free kill. It's a free kill. His dodge factor allows him to stall, and if that's more so skill based, you know, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. If you don't know how to deal with it, he's going to run down the time account, then he can switch back into Bardock and Goku and then do his next combo. So it's really just situational. I don't disagree with having like UI here or even here, but I feel like in most cases, if the player isn't good, he's getting slammed. That's why I've moved him quite down a bit, but it's not ridiculous to keep him high up. I feel like he's within the 4 to 7 range, and I feel like that's fair. I feel like for my reasons, it's explainable, but he's a very safe option to use if you aren't brain dead and just, you know, hoping that you just won't get hit by 17. You know, 17's blast based. He's going to be hitting you with the fact that you can't break out the combo. The strike thing as well, when you're in mid combo, dodge out, you can't do that against blast. So that's something to consider. Now, these 3 here, I think these 3 are closing out the list, you know. Some people might consider Android 16, but it's interesting to me. I feel like it's not that he's bad. It's not that he's super good. He's actually just good enough to compete with all of these guys. If you want to have him in the top 10, it's not ridiculous to say that. I think he's the #1 honorable mention. #1 honorable mention. I feel like these guys are just safer options. MVP holds the team together. UVB holds the not holds the team together. He can be the main attacking option, if not a secondary. And Evo Ken, I used them recently, right? And it's really just a downplay on them. Do I want to move them out? I can if I wanted to, you know. It's really just optional. But for the guys that use Evo Ken, they're praying for their life, saying, please, man, please put Evo Ken top 10. You know, people have been really downplaying them, including me. And for good reason. They're blast based, you know. They don't have the main spots on any team besides from Universe Rep, considering they are both Son Fam and Vegeta Clan, so it's interesting. But I am going to keep them top 10, but they're going to make the 10th spot for me. I'm just going to say that off rip. So yeah, that's fine. I feel like 17 is way more of a safer option, and he's an android, so he has 2 teams, not just one. UVB, these 2 can be interchangeable. These 2 are fighting right now. Would I put UVB above 17? This is an interesting one. UVB is not the main man on Fusion Warriors, so Fusion Warriors he's cooked, but you can use him in the same regard. But MVP 17, with the stock of androids increasing, we gotta move him down. I feel like UVB 1v1 can cook, but really and truly he's type disadvantage, so it's really glazing if I put him above. And on top of the fact that this guy can be run on 2 teams. If you're not running UVB on Fusions, even though 17 already replaces him, where are you running him? Future? In this day and age? Is there even one Future unit up here? That is sad, man. So yeah, you see my point. I think that makes sense. 9, Evo Ken's UVB. UVB is just a safer option in terms of 1v3s. I think even though Evo Ken has a safer spot on Universe Rep, UVB is still just that good. You could use him today and you'll see amazing results. And I think that's what's consistent about the UVB. The counter is safe. The advantage recovery is safe. Not that Evo Ken can't do these things, but really and truly, his element is also safe. Evo Ken is safe too. Let's not get twisted. Purples are good. There's a lot of blues, so maybe UVB is not as safe. But the type neutral here, solid. This guy can reverse elements. Evo Ken can. Maybe I am glazing, actually. I think UVB is a good temp spot, actually. I feel like I'm glazing. Reverse element, cover null, long combos, damage. It is glazing. It's glazing. Let's move UVB down. Let's move UVB down. Let's not point out the fact that this guy can switch. Evo Ken can switch. They cover 2 bounds. They cover 2 bounds. And let's look at how many blues are above. So we got 1 blue, 2 blue, 3 blue. How many yellows are above? There's no real reason to have UVB above when he's replaced on his team and there's no real stock in yellows. He is an amazing monster, but we have to really respect. We have to really respect this unit here. Alright, cool. So this whole video, I haven't spoken about Super Vegeta once. These guys are just not going to make the cut, so let me just move them down immediately. So let's talk about Super Vegeta. Let's talk about Super Vegeta. I haven't spoken about him once. We have to discuss why all of these units are better than Super Vegeta. So we got him here, right? And I'm going to point out his main flaws. So before he released, I looked at his kit and I felt he has some really good potential. But it depended on a couple of things. It depends on his gauge fill speed. It depends on his damage, so the stats that they give him. I think those were the 2 main things that I mentioned. Depending on how those run, he would be super good. Super good. But there's been more issues that have arisen based on how the meta flows. So let's take the fact that he's even red. So that means he could be a victim to 17, Bomku, Bardock, and Goku. There's 3 blues. So is he that good to bypass the type advantage rule? I'll leave that for you to decide. I'll say in the end. Next, we got to deal with his gauge. His gauge does have good factors to it when it fills, but really and truly you don't have control over it, which is something I mentioned as well. So you just have to time it correctly to work in your advantage, and that requires a lot of effort. The skill basis to use him is very high, not in terms of like, oh, you have to try your hardest, but to replicate the same results that you can get from, let's say, Bardock and Goku. You'd be putting in maybe 5 times more effort, which is insane. So really and truly, that's another reason to bring him down. Another reason people have brought up is his long range ultimate. At first, it sounded really cool. It was like, alright, cool, we haven't got a long range ultimate since Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So that's going to be cool. It's going to be advantageous. Wrong. In a lot of situations, it's really a niche situation where you'd be able to thrive off having a long range ultimate. And even then, a lot of people have claimed it's super slow, so it doesn't connect all the time. It can also be absorbed by Super 17, which just puts the icing on the cake. Also, unless you're mid-combo, if you're close range, a person does a strike art, or maybe even a blast art if they're fast enough, they will get to you before you get to them because you have to throw it. So in a lot of cases, it's putting you at a disadvantage. So that's another reason. Now, let's put the final hammer slam in for the nail. You know, whatever the saying is. We got to talk about the fact that he cannot do his combos when he's supposed to. A lot of units in this meta increase your costs. I'm sure you guys have been playing PvP and you've had like a 60 key cost and it's like, damn, man, I can't even play the game. I cannot even play the game when I'm using Super Vegeta. So even though he gets a lot of key, you can't press your cards consistently or smoothly. You can't flow how you want to flow. The game doesn't let you do that because a lot of the units in the game are able to increase your costs. So for those reasons, he doesn't contend for top 10. And that's so sad. I'm not even going to put him in honorable mentions. It's really just a tier list with 16 making the honorable mention. Now let me talk about 16. Woo! Let me talk about 16. With the Android stock consistently rising, with the foreseeable Ultra Cell, yes, you heard me, hopefully not Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, please Toshi, please. With the foreseeable Ultra Cell, Androids will be a top 1 team in the game. Now they dropped Android 16, they gave them green. They've got the green here on the Android team to counter these blues that exist. Perfect. They have a top 2 Android, Super 17. Perfect. They have the most valuable unit of 2023 on their team. Perfect. And what color is that most valuable unit in 2023? Blue, countering the top 2 in the game. Androids is cooking. But him himself, he gets gauge recovery. Vanish gauge recovery just increases your stock tenfold. If you're a unit with consistent vanish gauge recovery, you are good. Green card grab, super good. He's able to actually get a strike out from that. He has cover note in his kit, super good. He has the long range ultimate too. Alright, I talked about how it was bad with Super Vegeta, but he's a 1%. So his role isn't to be the core of the team, you know? Android 16 fits on his team and he does what he does. He's not a top 10 unit in my opinion, but he can be used as one, which is why he's in the honorable mention. So if somebody said he is 10th, he is 9th, maybe not 9th, but hey, he is in the top 10. I think it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous at all. It's not ridiculous. So for those reasons, he's the only unit that makes the honorable mention. Now going back to Super Vegeta, one thing that I didn't talk about is teams, right? What teams is he being used on? This is like an also big deciding factor that I missed out. What teams is he being used on? Vegeta Clan, womp womp. What's going on over there? It's like a party with 2 people. You don't want to go there. Let's look at Saiyans. He's on the team, I guess, but not as a starter. We got Pycon. We got Bardock and Goku. Bonkyu can be used there. G4, UUI, womp womp. It's quite sad. Nobody's gonna main him because he's just not better than these units. So he doesn't have a starting position on Saiyans. Super Saiyans, that team is deceased. It's literally just a fun team. Like, if you see someone using blue Bardock and any Super Saiyan, they're just trying to have a fun time. When have you been threatened by that team? Let's be honest. I haven't seen that team since, bro, I don't even know when. Ultra Super Gogeta? Damn. Super Saiyans just don't exist. That's another womp womp. And let's not even talk about his Z ability being Cell Saga. Why did they even do that? If the episode isn't movies, or if you want to count GT, if the episode isn't movies or GT, please, for the love of God, do not put the episode in the Z ability. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. It doesn't do anything. It's really just forcing the idea that, oh, this guy's Cell Saga, don't forget. It does nothing. That team, womp womp. So that's my top 10 here. That's pretty much everything. We got Beast Gohan number 1, Super 17 number 2, Bardock and Goku number 3, Goku and Bardock, Pycon Gogeta number 4, Bonkyu number 5, UG4 number 6, UI number 7, 17 number 8, Evoken number 9, UVV number 10, and this guy has an honorable mention, Android 16, with the interchangeables being these 2 being interchangeable. So maybe I should make it clearer. I think that would be cool, but I'll just leave it like that for controversy. UI could be interchangeable within these 3 places, and I wouldn't be disagreeing with that. And I think the rest is pretty much solid, locked in place. If you're a Vegeta Clan main, my condolences. I hope you sleep well at night, because you probably aren't at the moment. It's been 2 days or 1 day from when you're seeing this video. You're not going to get anything good for the whole year. Just because you see content creators hype up, oh, Vegeta Clan's going to get something. It's still going to suck, my guy. We just got to keep it as what it is. Appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the tier list. Press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.